Welcome back to Third Phase of Moon. Blake Cousins, we've got the videos for you, and if you blink, you might miss it, but we've got the enhanced footage. Buckle up, everybody. Check this out. Are you seeing what we're seeing? We've got the panel tonight. Dr. J is with us, Paula Asteria, my brother Brent. We're going over the incredible news coming in. And right now, something just streaked across the sidewalk, captured on security cam. And we're kind of baffled at what we're looking at. It shakes the trash can. The birds fly away. Are we looking at some kind of big hoax, or are we looking at something unexplained?
Yeah, Blake, first impressions looking at this, it'll catch people's eyes. They'll say, what in the world are we looking at? And we're looking at something that is, in my opinion, maybe a publicity stunt, but we're looking at a good still right there. This looks biological. It's kind of weird. I kind of like that. But when I'm looking at this whole thing in the entirety, I'm still a little skeptic on this. Paula?
You know, when I first see this, I almost think it looks to me like 4D hologram technology or holographic technology. But then I see the birds flying and the garbage cans shaking, and that's kind of wild, and it almost makes me think, what if this technology could work with nanobots and maybe become something more realistic? I mean, 4D hologram technology has been around for a while.
I first started to think, is this a possible craft, maybe even something with wheels on the ground? But then when I watched it again the second time, I'm like, no way, I think this is possibly a being, like a biological creature that is going so fast. Are the people even around it seeing this? And the fact that it knocks down a trash can, makes birds fly, obviously that adds to it. But look what's happening right behind it. It almost leaves a tail of light, like squirms of light. This is really, really crazy footage.
You know, Dr. J, as I'm looking at this, I thought that this could have been sped up footage, but you see the cars behind in regular speed, and then this close up, it does look biological, Brent. You could almost make out some characteristics, some eyes and nose, maybe it's just very bizarre, some unknown life form or something that's just traversing really quickly. Is it paranormal? I'm not sure. It's just strange, Brent.
Yeah, for sure. It kind of looks like a jellyfish, a Portuguese man-o-war. We're not sure what we're looking at. Definitely, it's not a human. Whatever we're looking at, in my opinion, again, it could be real or it could be fake. It could be a publicity stunt for a movie Flash. I'm not sure, because I've never seen anything like this before. And if this is indeed real, then we're looking at something special.
We got to get the metadata, and hopefully the security cam and the person who actually discovered this, if it is indeed a phenomenon that we're looking at. Now, again, we told you we've got a lot of UFOs tonight, and we're going to get to it. So before we do, we appreciate your thumbs up and all the comments. It really helps the algorithm, guys. Please do it right now. Now, guys, like I said, let's get to the videos. Here they are. A broad daylight sighting of something that appears metallic. It's hovering up there. It's pretty stable, and I thought we should share this. At first I thought it could have been a drone or a balloon, but the characteristics of this managed to capture the person on the ground's eye, and they're filming it, and they don't know what's going on, and it's pretty crystal clear day.
Yeah, this is kind of cool. We're seeing it rise. What we're looking at is 100% legit. No CGI. In my opinion, this is captured by somebody on the ground, and he's doing a great job. He's focusing on this. We see it kind of just rise above. Again, there's this phenomenon of metallic spheres being seen in war zones all over the world. Could it be some sort of special project, this new operation, or could it be something mundane? That's a pretty good close-up. What are we looking at?
Yeah, you know, at first it kind of looks like a balloon when you first see it, but then when you see these weird spikes coming out around it, it makes me wonder if maybe it's some sort of weird spy satellite that comes in a little close, or maybe, I don't know, maybe it's some sort of metallic thing that can change forms, like some sort of nanobot thing that can change structures. I know I've seen a lot of these sort of round spherical objects that have like more spikes sometimes. So I don't know. What are your thoughts, Dr. J?
Okay, first I started to think, is this possibly a natural phenomenon? But then, obviously, if it was, I would have think the guy probably wouldn't have recorded it and reacted the way he did. And then when he zoomed in, I started to notice, obviously, it was also growing too. And what looked is like appendages, which are not necessarily attached. They also could be following the thing. So I don't know what to make of it. I'm not saying this is extraterrestrial. It could possibly be our technology, but it's probably not natural phenomena.
Hey, look, if it's metallic and we're not seeing any kind of means of propulsion, prop propeller blades or anything like that, what's keeping it up in the air really quickly, John?
I think the technology, when it has no wings, no propellers or anything like that, is probably what Bob Lazar talked about and many other people have mentioned, anti-gravity technology, unless it's some sort of technology we don't even know yet, like dark matter. But since people have been talking about anti-gravity for decades, that's what's been going on S4. When it has no conventional shape of airplanes or helicopters, I believe that is what's able to control things hovering and going massive fast with having no contrails or affecting the crashing the craft.
We're looking at the next video, and as you speak about extraordinary technology, we're looking at something that's quite amazing. Look at this. This thing just rises up, takes a 90-degree angle, and just rips across the sky. If this were a craft and the laws of physics were correct, it would have crushed itself with this maneuver. Brett, what are we looking at here?
Yeah, the occupants, the craft itself, the inertia is so fast. It looks like it just ricochets to the left, and it gives us a really nice look of propulsion. What we're looking at is something really cool, because we're seeing the glow in the sky. It lights up the clouds. It seems real. In my opinion, this is legit. Could it be a lens flare? In my opinion, I'm not seeing that. What I'm seeing is something moving at extraordinary rates of speed.
You know, I think this is the most incredible, credible footage that we've seen in a long time. You know, personally, I mean, the way it kind of hovers up and then shoots at a 90-degree angle like that, the force that is going, the speed that is going, that is not a drone. That's not anything that, maybe we are capable of making, in my opinion.
The only way our science understands is if it's using anti-gravity technology. People usually talk about a pilot getting crushed. For instance, an F-16 making a hook turn over 12 Gs would not just kill the pilot, but it would crash the actual F-16. There is no way our technology can do this. Like Apollo said, this is hands down some of the greatest technology or greatest video of watching this technology than ever seen before.
Now, more videos just in, and we're looking at this. It's actually a still photograph of something that looks maybe biblical. Some people are speculating that we're looking at some kind of ascension of something, but is it otherworldly or is it something practical? That's the big question here.
Yeah, but this photo was taken in Latin America. It's been making the rounds. I've seen this around for the past 3 days. People are doing this AI kind of enhancement on what we're looking at, but what I like is just the original raw data. AI could kind of mix things up and put some sort of pareidolia in it, but what we're looking at here is something off in the distance over the city, and we're seeing something hovering over there that we can't explain. What is this? Is this something otherworldly, something strange? That's exactly what it is. We just don't know.
The first thing that comes to mind for me when I see this is it really looks a lot like some sort of religious symbolism to me. I mean, that's the only thing that comes to mind for me. I mean, what if, it is, or it's some sort of psychological experiment on the masses that someone partook in? I'm not sure, but that's what comes to mind for me. Doctor.
The irony is, I actually looked at it from a different perspective. You all make great points, but to me, this reminds me of the 1561 Nuremberg sighting, which was actually carved into I don't want to say a wood painting, but whatever they used at that era, which had basically like a Star Wars fight over the city. Everything from crosses to orbs to tube lights to everything, all sorts of shapes, basically fighting. So that's the first impression I got. Unfortunately, it's only a still. We don't see how it's traveling, but it's very compelling, that's for sure.
Yeah, propaganda or something that could be mysterious. That's what we're here for right here at Third Phase Moon. Now we've got more coming in of what looks to be some kind of starship that streaks across the sky, captured on video, shocking the people that witnessed it themselves. Take a look at this.
This one is something that we all need to look at again. Are we looking at something experimental, something off in the atmosphere, or maybe up in space? This thing's cooking and it's moving fast. Then we get to see some details, especially right there. Look at that. We're seeing the tail and then these appendages. Is this a craft, supersonic? What are we looking at?
Whatever it is, I think it looks like a ship to me, and it's coming in fast. Maybe hypersonic speed. It looks like it has some sort of wings or something coming out of it. I mean, this is really incredible. What I'm wondering, I wish I could see where it lands or how the video ends.
When you're looking at this, it's crazy. It almost looks like a Star Wars movie. Like, we pull up some Mandalorian shots, and it resembles the technology that we're looking at in this still from the video itself. John?
Immediately at first glance, I started to think, was this a meteor or something? But then that changed right away when I started to see what looked like a jet engine contrail. But it's not necessarily a contrail with smoke, because it's more like a glow. And then when I saw it zoomed up, and you see what Paula mentioned, like wings, but to me it looks like an orb on each side following it. I think what you all said, hypersonic craft coming in, that's probably the best suggestion. I think that's probably in line with what it is. Maybe we're testing some new drone technology. Maybe it's the Space Force coming in for a landing, but it's probably our technology, not aerial phenomena that's natural.
Yeah, and once again, I think we've cracked the code on propulsion, and what we're looking at is basically straight out of a Star Wars movie, and it's happening right above our heads on a daily basis, and people are capturing this, and people want to call this CGI. We're looking at legitimate footage right here at Third Phase Moon. We're breaking the news consistently, and this is one of the ones that we wanted to showcase once again of something, in my opinion, is experimental, and it proves that there's something going on that our government, our private corporations aren't telling us. This is a private corporation deal right here.
You know, a lot of times science fiction isn't so far from reality. A lot of sci-fi writers actually, over the recent decades, have created sort of imagery that NASA actually ended up working on, such as like, orbital rings and asteroid bubble worlds. So, it makes a lot of sense to me that if this is being portrayed in our media now, that maybe there's something out there, whether it's extraterrestrial or done by our own government.
What Paula says, actually, I've always believed that science fiction and science actually go hand in hand. A lot of stuff what appeared in Hollywood was in reflection to what people actually saw, and sometimes vice versa. Like rockets they were drawing over 100 years ago in comics looked similar to what was used during World War II and eventually by NASA.
You're right. And the black budget programs and the money that has been missed, it's unaccounted for, trillions of dollars. This is the kind of stuff I think that we're investing into, but with these black budget programs and private corporations. Brent, is this a video proof of something that is otherworldly, or something that we created ourselves and using maybe reverse engineered alien tech?
Yeah, it kind of reminds me, talking to our good friend Jim Goodall. He mentioned he is talking to his really good friend Ben Rich from Lockheed Skunk Works president, and he says we have the technology to take ET home. That's the big quote right there. And if Lockheed Martin has that, and they've been keeping it in cover for the past 70 years, we're looking at something that's, again, technology that's being hidden from us. Unfortunately, we just need to crack the code, and everybody needs to, people on the ground, break it, because the government's not going to break it to us.
It's interesting, too. Lockheed Skunk Works, Ben Rich also stated, if you've seen the movie Star Wars, we've been there, we've done that. So that's pretty crazy as well. We've got a new video, but one quick statement here.
I think the way consciousness works, from what I've heard, if you're capable of perceiving it, then you're capable of achieving it. So makes a lot of sense.
Well said there. Let me tell you, we've got a lot of videos that don't make sense. That's why we're here, sharing the phenomenon. We're just asking questions. Watch this. Something at a massive luminance just shocked a neighborhood and this little town. It appeared in the night sky, and people were wondering what the heck's going on. And we've got the multiple angles of this event. We still don't have answers, but I don't think this is any kind of drone that we're aware of right now. Is this some kind of plasmic phenomenon going on? Something that might be biological or something natural? This is the question. I'm not saying there's little green men in this one.
Yeah, I'm looking at this, and we're very familiar with flares and everything like that. We've covered this over almost 15 years here at Third Phase Moon. This looks a little different. We're not seeing it drop. It's just stationary, and it's very bright. It's like illuminating this purple reddish hue. What I like about it, it's just not dropping. It's static. What's keeping this up in the sky, and what kind of technology is this?
You know, whenever I see this phenomenon, I immediately think plasma balls or plasmoids. You know, there's so much energy deep under the earth, and maybe, who knows, maybe there are experimental programs working with plasma. I'm sure there's a lot of that out there. I think there's a lot of plasma that scientists haven't even begun to understand what they can use it for. But, you know, these balls of plasma are coming up out of the earth all the time, and I think a lot of times when you see these balls of colored light, that's what you're seeing.
You know, the fact that we're seeing a ball of light, very luminescent, doesn't necessarily mean we're looking at some sort of technology. We have to be skeptical and open-minded, understand that natural things happen from the earth. Usually before and after an earthquake, people see balls of light or plasma balls coming from fault lines. Same thing with volcanoes and other parts of the earth. So I'm not necessarily knocking this person's footage at all, since it could be something else. But in my opinion, I think this is probably natural phenomenon.
Yeah, again, this one's pretty exciting. We're seeing something up there, this plasmic, like everybody's saying, orb that seems stationary, then just disappears. We see it just blink out of existence. Could this be a flare? Not sure, but again, we're looking at something that we can't explain. New footage coming up. We're looking at, again, plasmic energy in the skies, and we're looking at something cylindrical hovering out there that gives us bright presence. Was a camera looking at something and it gave him a little like heads up, like, hey, I'm here? I wish ET would do that a little bit more. What are we looking at?
You know, in my mind, when I see this, I kind of assume that it's over water, because to me, when I see craft that looks like this, where it's all lit up like that, it kind of seems bioluminescent to me, like it's something that's from like deep under the oceans, like a USO, and the way it lights up like that is really incredible. So I really like this one.
I like this one a lot, especially because of the shape and the fact that it's glowing. We all need to remember this, and I've said this multiple times in the past. When you have something producing a high amount of electricity, such as this, or the S4 sports model, that's in our atmosphere, which is full of gas, hydrogen and oxygen, for instance, what it does is it produces a glow. That's why a lot of times, even during daytime, you'll see craft glowing. And that's what I think is happening right now. We're actually seeing technology at work. This could possibly be an extraterrestrial craft, or conversely, an ARV, an alien reproduction vehicle that we created based on ET technology.
You know, when you say that, I kind of think it doesn't make sense to me that it would be one of our own or our government's craft, because why would they make something that would light up so bright like that if it was some sort of spy craft technology they're working on? So it actually makes more sense to me that it could be extraterrestrial in nature just because of that, because obviously it's not hiding.
Yeah, good point right there, Paula. Definitely, if the government's trying to hide something, their technology, they're not going to try to showcase it with lights and a phenomenon where the people can catch it. I could believe maybe alien civilization coming here, not really thinking about that. So when we see it and we see the phenomenon, they're not trying to hide them. We may be looking at that right now.
Yeah, I've tagged a lot of thumbnails and title text with, they're not hiding anymore. And maybe they're not. They're exposing themselves to us. They're around us at all times, people. Just remember, you got to look up all the time. And what we've been covering right here at Third Phase Moon has been breaking the news over and over again. If you're looking for the latest, it's right here. For example, this new story that people are pushing off as new, we broke it over 3 weeks ago. The New York sighting. Take a look at this. So you may have missed it. We're going to slow it down. We're going to do this once again. If you guys missed it, like we said, 3 weeks ago, we covered this, and people are covering it right now in the major media, News Nation, claiming that this is kind of new stuff. Again, everybody's watching Third Phase of Moon, the major media, politicians, pretty much the entire planet.
Yeah, I see this phenomenon happening all the time. It's kind of fun because when we put out something, the world picks up on it. TikTok, Instagram, it goes rampant. And we kind of like that because that's getting the word out. I would really like if they gave credit where credit was due and who broke the news. But, News Nation and everybody else and all these other news media, they should just give credit when it breaks. Anyway, I'm glad it gets out because that's how the information gets disseminated, and that's what it needs.
You know, what's incredible to me is how fast this is moving past the airplane window in the other direction. I mean, maybe it's because the airplane's moving so fast in the opposite direction, but I'm just wondering when I see this, if the people from on the ground in the city below can actually look up and see this in the sky, because it is moving by very fast from what I can tell. And it's very small from, down on the ground looking up at this. That would be a very far distance to see such an object that looks that size.
I remember when we covered this was really crazy and still is amazingly good footage. Why? Because it's daytime, it's out of an aircraft, and it's very detailed. The fact that it's going so fast, clearly it's going faster than the sound of sound, the sound barrier. But yet, there's no sonic boom. Nobody's hearing it. That's why we're seeing technology at work here. And let me make another point. The fact that this is being covered in the mainstream media 3 weeks after it was covered on Third Phase of Moon should show to the world that Third Phase of Moon is where people need to come to see UFO footage right when it happens. You guys report it the same day or within days of when you receive it, as opposed to media, which is barely taking it from you.
Yep, the major media really doesn't talk to us, but nothing new there. Now check out Battle for Disclosure. It's our latest comic book making the rounds.
Following a developing story, could the military patrol?
Well, you don't just have $2, $3, $10 trillion vanish.
We've given so far $171 million.
Most of the work being done on this are private corporations. Call this a hybrid entity that's neither strictly government nor strictly private. If these are extraterrestrials or real and they're getting here from another star system, they're not using 20th century or early 21st century technology. People at the CIA call it WSFM, weird science and frickin' magic.
That's right, Battle for Disclosure and Battle for Disclosure, the second issue, Air Force One Down, is available right now on Amazon, Kindle. Take a look. You will be amazed on how closely this parallels what's going on right now around our world. If you've captured anything amazing, submit it to us right here at Third Phase of Moon. My contact email is in the description. We'll see you next time.
Over and out.
We'll catch you next time.
10-4.